All right, Khan. Shalom, shalom, Israel. Shalom to the 12 tribes. Yasharala giving reports, all honor and praise unto the Most High God, Yahweh. In the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shah, this is brother Yasharala coming back to y'all yet another video through the Spirit and power of Yahweh. Bahashima Mashah wa Malaki Yahweh Shah. All right, all praises to the Most High God. Shalom, shalom. Um, Shabbat shalom to all that's observing it today, Friday sundown and Saturday sundown to the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah, man. Right? So, Con, I'm gonna get straight into this, right? Lord willing, Ahbayah is gonna hop on a little later, but basically, this is a video going into how are we priests on a spiritual level in these last days? How are we priests on a spiritual level in the last days? Right now, what do you read about the priests? You read about the priests, all throughout the Bible. They're mentioned all throughout the Bible, but you mainly find the priests in their office and their work in the Torah, in the first five books of Moses, right? In the first five books of Moses, that's where you find the tenets of the priests. That's where you find out what they do, how they operate, and et cetera, the rules that they had to follow, et cetera, right? So when you look at that, right? When you look at that, let's go to the book of Hebrews, chapter 8, verse 5, right? Let's go to Hebrews 8 and 5. Now, for as much as the priest is on a physical level, we also know that the law is spiritual, right? So let's go to Hebrews chapter 8 and verse number 4. For if he were on earth, he should not be a priest, seeing that there are priests that offer gifts according to the law, who serve unto the example and shadow of heavenly things, as Moses was admonished of God when he was about to make the tabernacle. For see, said he, that thou make all things according to the pattern shown to thee in the mount. You see that? So we know that everything, when it says Salaki, I'm gonna just pull it up on the screen, right? Let's go to Hebrews 8 and 5. All right, Hebrews chapter 8, verse 5. Now I'm gonna share my screen, right? So it's just you could follow along here, right? But it says, who serve unto the example and shadow of heavenly things, as Moses was admonished of God when he was about to make the tabernacle, right? Now, basically, it's a shadow of heavenly things, right? Now, we also know that the law is spiritual, right? Let's go to Romans chapter 7 and verse, right, 12, I believe I want. Right, let's go to Romans 7 and 12. It says, Okan, Salaki, I want to actually Romans 7, all right, and verse 14, right? Romans 7 and 14. All right, let's get that real quick. All right, let's go to Romans chapter 7 and verse 14. And it reads, for we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin. So we're in this a carnal body. All right, we're in this carnal body. But the law itself, the law Yahweh is spiritual. So when we read the law, statutes, commandments, right, it's double to that which is. Now let's go into it, right? Let's go into the Levitical law, or essentially let's go and look at the Levites, right? Let's go to the book. I'm gonna start with the book of right Exodus chapter 30, chapter 30. Right, let's go to Exodus chapter 30 and verse number 17. Right, let's go to Exodus chapter 30 and verse number 17. I want to start with that first. Right, I want to start with that first, and it says, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, thou shalt also make a laver of brass, and his foot also of brass, to wash withal. And thou shalt put it between the tabernacle of the congregation and the altar, and thou shalt put water therein. So back in the ancient world, you literally had to have a laver of brass. Now let's look up what a laver of brass is, right? A laver of brass, right? Now, this was an actual thing back in the ancient world. Back in ancient Israel, you had an actual thing called a laver of brass, which looked, so, artist representation said that it would basically look like this, something to that effect, right? Now, the purpose of having this thing called a laver of brass was to what? It's going to say it right now. All right, it says what? And his foot also of brass to wash withal. It says to wash withal, so that you may wash yourself, right? Now, and it says what? For Aaron and his sons, remember, Aaron is a brother of who? Moses. We know that Moses was a Levite, pursuant to the book of Exodus, chapter 2, verse 1 on down. And Aaron, being his brother, would also be a Levite as well. So we know that Moses and Aaron were the two Levites that governed Israel during this time of Exodus, during the time of Leviticus and Deuteronomy, right? Well, not Deuteronomy for Aaron, but during this time, right? But it says what? For Aaron and his sons shall wash their hands and their feet direct. So the purpose was so that Aaron and his sons, the Levites, would wash their hands and their feet, right? Now check that out. It says the hands and the feet, right? That's spiritual. Everything that they did on a physical level was literally a shadow of things to come and a shadow basically of Yahweh and how we will come into the truth, right? On a spiritual level. So let's keep reading. When they go into the tabernacle of the congregation, they shall wash with water, that they die not, right? So when they go into the tabernacle of the congregation, they had to wash first in that water, that they what? Die not, right? Or the Lord will kill them, huh? Right? When it says what? Or when they come near to the altar to minister, to burn offering made by fire unto the Lord. So they had to wash themselves first before entering into the tabernacle of the congregation. Before they could go into here, right? Before they can go into the tabernacle of the congregation, that's what that's talking about. They had to wash themselves. You couldn't come into the Lord's house dirty, right, with spots and blemishes all over yourself, man. Couldn't do that. You had to come in clean and washed, right? Now we're going to see what that means on a spiritual level, on a metaphorical level, and it's symbolic. All this stuff is symbolic, right? Let's keep reading. So they washed their hands and their feet, that they die not, and it shall be a statute forever to them, even to him and to his seed throughout their generations. You see that? So it was a law throughout their whole generations. Now let's see what that means on a spiritual level. Remember, they had to wash their hands and they had to wash their feet. Let's deal with the hands first. Actually, let's deal with that water. What is that water symbolic of? That water is symbolic for that word that cleanses us, right? The word Yahweh Shah. Let's go to the book of John, chapter 15, right? Let's go to John 15 and 3. It says, now ye are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. That's how we clean ourselves, through the word of Yahweh Shah, because the word is likened unto water, right? Now you are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. When you take a bath, right? Take a bath or a shower, right? You take a bath or a shower. You understand? You have water in there. You have water and you have soap, right? So that water, right? You're not going to just have soap on you and just rub yourself with that soap and think that you're clean. No, you need that water first and foremost. You're going to have more water than soap. You're not going to have more soap than water. Doesn't make any sense, right? You're going to have that water. It's that water that really cleanses you, right? Even on a biological level, the benefits of even drinking water and having water all over your body, right, is what cleanses you. We all need water to survive, right? So that water is very significant, right? Just how the Lord said, man shall not live by bread alone, right? And that's also going for meat and drink. Let's go to Matthew chapter 4 and verse 3. It says, and when the tempter came to him, he said, if thou be the son of the Most High, command that these stones be made bread. So this is when Yahweh Shah was being tempted of Satan, right? Now let's go to verse 4. But he answered and said, it is written, man should not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Most High, right? So man is not, we're not supposed to be living just by bread alone, just by eating and by drinking. Nah, man, right? We also need that spiritual water and that spiritual meat, you know what I'm saying? Which is that word of the Most High. Remember, the word of the Most High is likened unto water. It's also the knowledge and the wisdom of the Lord. It's also likened unto wine, honey, right? Meat, pursuant to the book of Hebrews, the 5th chapter, right? And many other verses, 1 Corinthians chapter 3, right? Verses 1 on down, right? Going into the milk, right? And the milk is the word. So the word is likened unto food and drink, And it's also, we see also in the scriptures that it's likened first and foremost onto water, that water that you need to drink and to wash yourself withal, right? Just like how the priests had to do. Um, let's go to the book of Ephesians, chapter 5, and verse 26, right? It says what? It says that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word. So you have to sanctify and cleanse yourself with the washing of water by the word of the Lord, right? That's how you wash and sanctify yourself. People talk about baptism, you know, baptism, you don't have to literally physically immerse yourself into physical water. It's more so about that spiritual water is what matters, right? Uh, let's go to the book of Hebrews, chapter 10, verse 22, right? It says, let us draw near with a true heart and full assurance of faith, having our hearts sprinkled from an evil conscience and our bodies washed with pure water. You see that? Before, when you come to the Lord, it says, let us draw near with a true heart and full assurance of faith. When I have that true heart, right, in sincerity. Let me get this quick preset. Let's go to the book of Acts. Right now, when you wash yourself in that water and cleanse yourself, now you're coming to the Lord with a clean heart and with a pure heart. You know, a true heart of sincerity. You see that? Let's go to the book of Acts, chapter 2. Right? Let's go to Acts, chapter 2, and verse number 46. And they continually daily with one accord in the temple and breaking bread from house to house did eat their meat with gladness and singleness of heart. You see that? So the people that were coming into the truth, right? They were eating their meat with gladness and singleness of heart. I'm gonna get that real quick. Salaki, I want to get that word, right? Singleness of heart in that verse right there, right? Let's go to Acts chapter 2, verse 46, and let's look at that word for singleness of heart. Singleness, right? Let's play this
Strong's G 858. Aphelaites. Aphelaites.
Yeah, so it says simplicity, singleness, right? Singleness. Now let's look at that word for singleness when you just look it up. Aloneness, solitude. Now, here's the thing: when you go into the Bible Hub, it actually renders something slightly different that means basically the same thing in this context. Right now, in the NIV, it says every day they continued to meet together in the temple courts. They broke bread in their homes and ate together with glad and sincere hearts. So we understand that the NIV actually renders it as sincerity, right? Renders it as sincerity. So you want to come in sincerity, man, right? That's what the Lord said. In the Hebrews chapter 2, verse 22, it says, 10 and verse 22, and let us draw near with a true heart and full of assurance of faith, right? That true heart, right? Having our heart sprinkled from evil conscience and our bodies washed with pure water. You want to have that, you want to wash yourself with that pure water. That's what the priest did. You know, they had that water there, that brazen laver. Right, let's get that picture, right? They had the water, the literal water there. They had to wash themselves before they came to the Lord. You see that? There's a lot of things that they had to do on a physical level. Literally had to put on the priest garments, right? Had to wrap the meat tree around their heads, and et cetera, et cetera. A lot of ceremonies, you know, and practices. Well, not practices, but customs, or basically things that they had to undergo before coming and appearing before the Lord, because nobody is going to just appear before the Lord, right? For example, you know, even we see that even with the parable of the man that didn't have his wedding garment, right? Nobody can just come to the wedding. You don't even have a wedding garment, right? We can read about that, man. Right? You can't come to the Lord with no garments on. You know, the Lord's not going to receive you, right? You can't come to the Lord with certain things and then lacking certain things. You can't come and appear before the Lord, because remember, the Lord Yahweh Shai is a king. Nobody can just come before the king. You have to undergo what? You know, the governors, the judges, the elders. Then when you get past the elders, you get past the priests, you know, et cetera, the king's right hand mans, and then you get to the king, you know, and that's how hierarchy works. Nobody can just come to the king. especially if you dressed a certain way, you look in a certain way. We can even see that in the book of 2 Samuel, right? Let's go to the book of what's his name? Right? Let's get this precept real quick. Get this precept. Okay, second Samuel 19:24, right? It says in Mephibosheth, right, Salakia, the son of Saul came down to meet the king and had neither dressed his feet, nor trimmed his beard, nor washed his clothes, from the day the king departed unto the day he came again in peace. And it came to pass, when he was come to Jerusalem to meet the king, that the king said unto him, wherefore wentest not thou with me, Mephibosheth? Right? Now, why is this written, though? Why is this recorded? Right? Because usually, when you appear before the king, you want to look, decent. Right? And the same thing with the Most High. You want to look decent. Want to keep your garments speckled and white, or white and holy, right, and pure. And you want to wash yourself before you come to the Lord, etc., etc. Right? I'm gonna get this other precept as well in Exodus chapter 20. All right. Hey, Jake, even when he appears before the judge on in these courts, he wants to look nice, presentable, etc., etc. So how much more the Most High, right? How much more the Lord, right? You want to look nice and presentable. Not saying that the Lord cares about your physical clothing, right? But he cares about that spirit. He cares about your spirit, your spiritual garment, right? Because remember, the Lord is spiritual, not carnal. Let's go to the book of let me see here, right? What precept is that? Right, Salakia. Right, I want to get this precept real quick. In the book of Hebrews, and then I want to link that up with Exodus. All right, let's go to the book of Hebrews, chapter 12. Okay, Khan. All right. Khan. So let's go to the book of Khan. Right, let's get another precept for that. Right, washing yourself before you come to the Lord. Exodus 19. Right, let's go to Exodus 19 and verse number 9. It says what? And the Lord said unto Moses, lo, I come unto thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee, and believe thee forever. And Moses told the people the words of the Lord. Salakia, the words of the people unto the Lord. And the Lord said unto Moses, go unto the people, sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes. So it says, so the Most High commanded Moses to sanctify them and to let them wash their clothes. Why? Because they were going to basically come and meet the Lord. All right. And be ready against the third day. For the third day, the Lord will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. So the Lord said, hey, let them wash their clothes, man. Let them look presentable. They look dirty, man. Right? And what does that mean on a spiritual level? How much more does that mean on a spiritual level? Because we know that our garment is our spirit, right? How do we know that? Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 16, and verse number 15, right? And it reads, behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. So the Lord said, blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. So when you're naked, that means that you're in sin, right? That means that you're in sin. So let's get a precept on that real quick, right? When you're naked, that means you're in sin. Let's go to Genesis chapter 35, meaning you're exposed, right? Exodus 35 and verse number 1. And God said unto Jacob, I'll pull it up on the screen. All right, let's go to Exodus 35. It's like it Genesis 35. Genesis 35 and 1. And God said unto Jacob, right? And God said unto Jacob, arise, go up to Bethel and dwell there, and make there an altar unto God, that appeared unto thee when thou fleddest from the face of the Esau thy brother. Then Jacob said unto his household and to all that were with him, put away the strange gods that are among you, and be clean and change your garments. You see that? So he said, change your garments. What does that mean? Change your spirit, man. Get out of that spirit of idolatry and change your garments. Put on those righteous garments. You see that? And be clean. Put away those strange gods. By them putting away those strange gods, they are changing their garments. You see that? On a spiritual level, right? So when you're in sin, right, you're naked. So you want to keep your garments, meaning keep your spirit, keep that understanding, that good understanding that you have. And unless you walk naked, unless you walk in sin and they see your shame, man. Right? Now you walking around saying that you're a I don't know what does Jake say, man? That's bugged out. Right? But now you believe in Islam / Christianity. You know, now you believe in a religion, or now you mixing religions together. First, you were a mighty Israelite, mighty man of the Lord, and you were keeping your garments, but then you didn't watch. You stopped watching, you stopped studying, you stopped reading, you stopped fasting, you stopped doing the works of the Lord, you stopped caring about it. And then now that one day you're a mighty man of the Lord, and the next, you know what I'm saying, in a couple months from that point, now you're walking around and everybody sees your shame. Now you're walking around, you thinking that, you know, this and that. You saying the Bible's not real. You saying, damn, that we're actually aliens, you know, and that white man is actually God, or man, you just walking around bugged out. They see your shame. You see that? They see your shame. They see the lack of understanding that you have, and they see that the Most High gave that man up to a strong delusion, which is very scary, but it actually does happen. Right? We hope that it doesn't happen to us, but that's why we got to continue to keep our garments. Right? The Lord said, "That which you have already, hold fast till I come." What do we have already? This garment that the Lord gave us. Let's get another precept on the garment real quick. Right? Before we come to the Lord, we got to change our garments. Right? Hold on. Right. You just stopped sharing the screen. Before we come to the Lord, we got to change our garments and we got to be clean. Right. And we got to wash ourselves with the word. All right. That's that true baptism that you want to do. So let's get another precept with that. Let's go to Mark 10. It's one of my favorite kind of accounts of Yahweh encountering a man, right, in the scriptures. Let's go to Mark chapter 10 and verse number let's see here, 46. It says, and they came to Jericho, and as he went out of Jericho with his disciples and a great number of people, blind Bartimaeus, the son of Timaeus, sat by the highway side begging. And when he had heard that it was Yahweh of Nazareth, he began to cry out and say, Yahweh, thou son of David, have mercy on me. And many charged him that he should hold his peace. And he cried the more a great deal, thou son of David, have mercy on me. And Yahweh stood still, commanded him to be called. And they called the blind man, saying unto him, be of good comfort, rise, he calleth thee. And he, casting away his garment, rose and came to Yahweh. So when he came to the Lord, you see that? When this blind man was coming to the Lord, he cast away his garment. First, he cast away his garment, and he rose and came to Yahweh. Why did he cast off his garment? What is the significance of that? We know that the things that happen in the scriptures is not just boom, one fold and that's it. It's twofold. There's metaphors to this thing. There's the symbology in the Bible. Huh? And don't think that just because you're reading the Bible is no symbolic things, right? Or no sense of foreshadowings. The literary devices, right, that we see, the poetic devices, the literary devices, right, that we see in modern literature, or even in older literature, in English literature, we see that, right, in the scriptures. And not even English literature, just literature, period. We see it in the scriptures, man. You have metaphors, you have symbology, you have similes, you have all these things, right? Now, and here's an account of that. And he, casting away his garment, rose and came to Yahushua. The reason why he came cast off his garment, what that is symbolic of on a spiritual level, is him casting off that old understanding, casting off that old man, right? He changed his garments. So even the priests on a spiritual level, before they came to the Lord, they have to wash themselves. They had to take off their ordinary clothing and put on the spiritual as well, right? They had to put on the garments of the priests, right? Now I want to get a precept on that, just to prove that the priests had to do that. They had to wear a certain attire, all right? They had to wear a certain attire when doing the work of the Lord, all right? Let's go to the book. Come on. All right, so let's go to the book of Exodus, chapter 40 and verse 10. So Exodus 40 and 10. Right, and it says, "And thou shalt anoint the altar of the burnt offering and all his vessels, and sanctify the altar, and that shall be an altar most holy. And thou shalt anoint the laver in his foot, and sanctify it. And thou shalt bring Aaron and his sons unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and wash them with water." Right, reiterating that in Exodus 30 and 17. "And thou shalt put upon Aaron the holy garments." So now there's holy garments. You see that? We're reading about holy garments. Now here's the thing: the priests had to put on those holy garments in order to do the work of Yahweh, in order to do the work of the Lord. All right. It says what? The holy garments, and anoint him and sanctify him, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office. And thou shalt bring his sons and clothe them with coats. So you had to put on special types of garments in order to do the work of the Lord. See, even on a spiritual level, we can't have these old garments on us while we come into the truth. We got to cast off the old man. That's what the truth is about. Casting off that old man, putting on the new spiritual garments, these priestly garments, and so that we may continue to do the spiritual sacrifices. And that's another thing too. All right, a lot of precepts on that as well. But let's go to the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 5. All right, let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 5, one of my favorite precepts as well. Basically, being that new man, that's what that represents. Right, being that new man, or that new woman. All right. 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse number 16. I'm sorry, 16, it says, "Wherefore henceforth know we no man after the flesh, yea, though we have known Christ after the flesh, yet now henceforth know we him no more." Here's the point. "Therefore, if any man be in Mahashiach, he is a new creature." So we're a new creature in Mahashiach. The new garments, the holy garments, you understand? We're new and improved, right? Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new. All things have become new. You see that? "And all things are of God, who have reconciled us to himself by Yahweh Mahashiach, and have given us the ministry of reconciliation." Right? Now, let's go to the book of Ephesians. Let's go to Ephesians 4 and 22. It says what? Right? Ephesians 4 and verse 22. "That ye put off concerning the former conversation the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lusts, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind, and that you put on the new man, which after God is created in righteousness and true holiness." You see that? So you had to put off concerning the former conversation the old man. That's the old man. So that's why in Mark chapter 10, verse 50, that man that cast off his garment came to Yahweh Shah. He didn't want to come to Yahweh Shah with that old garment, and that, remember, that's spiritual. But when we come to the Lord, we don't want to come to the Lord with that old garment as well, that old understanding. We don't want to come into the truth thinking that Islam is the truth, and now you in the truth, and you mixing Islam with the truth. That's what the Lord talks about as well, mixing doctrines. You have that old understanding in the world, you kind of bring it into this truth. No, you can't do that. We have to put off the concerning the former conversation, right? The old man, that's the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind. Now you put on the new man, which is after God and is created in righteousness and true holiness. See that? Let's get just another precept on the old man, right? Colossians 3:9. Right, it says what? Lie not one to another, seeing that you have put off the old man with his deeds. See that? Put off the old man, putting off that old garment, putting on the new garments, the holy garments. All right, let's go back to this Exodus 40 and verse number 13. And thou shalt put upon Aaron the holy garments, and anoint him and sanctify him, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office. And thou shalt bring his sons and clothe with him them with coats. Right now, that's also spiritual as well. All right, let's go to the book of Song of Solomon, chapter 5 and verse 3. Right, Song of Solomon 5 and 3. It reads, it says, I have put off my coat, how shall I put it on? I have washed my feet, how shall I defile them? So, hey, the Lord said, hey, I put off my coat, how shall I put it back on? Right? Can't make this up, man. Can't make this up. But anyways, it's crazy, man. Right? People do that all the time. Anyways, right? It says, and thou shalt bring his sons and clothe them with coats. So they had to be clothed with coats, right? In Song of Solomon 5, right? We see it right here. Song of Solomon 5, this was spiritual. It says, I have put off my coat. How should I put it on? You see that? You have the old coat that you wore in the world, then you have that new coat that you put on in this truth. You see that? The old coat that is associated with the madness that you used to do, the old understanding, the old man. And in this verse, it says, I have put off my coat. You have put off that old man. How shall I put it back on? Since we already have this new coat on, we already have this truth on, right? We shouldn't have no reason to put, that old coat back on. We already have a coat on. You don't need two coats, man. Just need one, right? Because this truth is warm enough, right? If you got ears to hear it. Putting on your Ahbayah, right? Putting on the whole armor of the Most High, that's enough. I don't need more than that, right? That's what we have to remind ourselves. And when I say that, I say that to myself as well, right? I put on my coat, how shall I put it on? I have washed my feet, how shall I defile them? That reminds me, we also have to touch on the feet, washing our feet as well, right? Because we were kind of talking about the body as a whole, but the hands, right, and the feet is significant for something, right? Let's go to the book of, first, let's go to the hands. Let's go to the book of Job, chapter 19, verse 8. All right, let's go to Job 19 and verse 8. And it reads, Salakia, right? Let's go to Job 17, Salakia, 17 and 9, right? Let's go to Job 17 and 9, right? That's where I want it. It says, the righteous also shall hold on his way, and he that have clean hands shall be stronger and stronger. So the way you clean your hands is any way you would clean your hand, right? How do you clean your hands? You wash them, right? You wash them, literally on a physical level. So more so on a spiritual, you can take that water, which is the word, and you wash your hands, right? Now you wash your hands by the word, but you also what? The way you wash your hands is what? Also repenting, getting into the word. And also another thing, right? Let's go to the book of Ezekiel 3 and 17, the classic. Ezekiel 3 and 17. All right. And it reads, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me. Right. When I gotta share this on the screen, right? This is it's really spiritual as well. Right. Ezekiel 3 and 17, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. So that's what let's see if we can get something good on the watchman. See that madness, man. Right. Madness. Ancient watchman. Okay, come on. So back in the ancient world, a lot of cities used to have walls, right? Walls around them, right? And the reason why they would have walls around the city is because, remember, it would be harder to get into that city. The city would be more secure with walls around it, right? Now, the modern day wall, I would say, is the border, right? Sometimes you have borders around cities nowadays. You have city lines and stuff like that. That would be the modern day wall, right? Guarded by, guards that work for that city or that nation, whatever, that state. Nowadays, you don't really necessarily have walls around cities. You, like I say, you do have borders, but you don't have a literal wall, right? Now, here's the thing: in the ancient world, and even back during the 1600s, even you had walls around cities, right? And upon these walls, you would have watchmen, right? In ancient Israel, you had watchmen as well, all right? Now, the job of a watchman would be to what? To literally, right? Let's see here. Let's see if we can get something to read here, right? What are watchmen in the Bible, right? It says watchmen in the Bible were guards responsible for protecting towns and military installations from surprise enemy attacks and other potential dangers. Ancient Israelite cities often stationed watchmen on high walls or in watchtowers. Their job was to keep watch and warn the townspeople of impending threats. Yeah, perfect, right? So that's their job, to warn the people about impending threats. They would stay upon those walls, they'll be on the lookout. So on a spiritual level, that's what we do now today. We go into the highways and hedges, and we proclaim onto our people, what danger is coming to them, and that they must repent so that they can escape that danger. Right now, that's what we're doing. That's what Ezekiel did as well, the prophets. Right, but it says what Ezekiel 3:18. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way. That's what we do. We try to warn the wicked from his wicked way. To what? To save his life. Not that he may be destroyed, but that he can save his life through righteousness, through him keeping the law, statutes, commandments, through him actually repenting and come back to the Lord. The same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand. So we have blood on our hands, right? We do have blood on our hands. Those of us that actually go out there into the highways and byways and proclaim this gospel, we have blood on our hands. Those of us that are in this truth, we understand, right? And we actually foresee the evil, but many of our people are lost as lost sheep. They don't see the evil, so we have to tell them about the evil, right? So therefore, we have blood on our hands. That's why we need to wash it with the word. That's why we need to wash it by repenting, right? And actually doing the work of Ahbayah, right? So that's how we wash our hands. Now, let's get the feet real quick. Let's go to John 13. Right? John 13, right, and 5, right? It says, after that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and to wipe them with a towel wherewith he was girded. Right. So this is Yahweh, right? This is Yahweh, Christ, right? And it says what? And to wipe them with a towel wherewith he was girded, right? Then cometh to him, it's like it. Then cometh he to Simon Peter, and Peter saith unto him, Lord, dost thou wash my feet? Yahweh answered and said unto him, what I do thou knowest not now, but thou shalt know hereafter. Peter said unto him, thou shalt never wash my feet. Yahweh answered him, if I wash thee not, thou hast no part with me. Simon Peter said unto him, Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head. Yahweh said to him, he that is washed needeth not to save to wash his feet, but is clean every whit. And ye are clean, but not all. You see that? So basically, Yahweh, here's some of it. Right, I'm gonna keep reading. For he knew who should betray him. Therefore said he, ye are not all clean. So after he had washed their feet and had taken his garments and was set down again, he said unto them, know ye what I have done to you. So he had washed their feet. So he washed the apostles' feet. Right? He washed the apostles' feet. Literally, this is on a physical, literal level. He washed the apostles' feet. So because he did that, right? Now let's go back to Exodus. Let's go back to Exodus chapter 40 and verse number 12. It says, "And thou shalt bring Aaron and his sons unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation and wash them with water. And thou shalt put upon Salakia." Actually, let's go back to Exodus 30. This is a more in-depth look there. Exodus 30 and verse number 19. "And for Aaron and his sons shall wash their hands and their feet thereat." All right. So they have to wash their hands and their feet. There's a reason why they have to wash their hands and their feet. You see that? And they have to wash their feet as well. We know that Yahushua, who is the high priest, literally washed, right, the apostles' feet. You know? Let's get this precept, right? Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 119. All right, this is how we're pre-spiritually. We see that. It's all on the spiritual level, right? Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 9. All right, let's go to Psalms, chapter 119, verse 9. Satan always cometh immediately, you know. Let's go to Psalm chapter 119 verse 9. It says, "Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed thereto to thy word." You see that? That's how you cleanse your way. That's how you wash your feet right now. Because we don't literally have Yahweh on the earth so that he may wash our feet. So what do? We wash each other's feet, right? On a spiritual level. Take heed to the word, right? And we tend unto our brothers, bear their burdens, right? And because remember, even literally, on literal level, the Levites, they had to do the Levitical work every day. They had to do this on the Levitical work. Remember, the Judites, they didn't have to do that. The Simeonites, the Reubenites, you know, any other tribe, they didn't have to do this work. Only the Levites, right? That's why they also didn't have an inheritance as well. They didn't even have an inheritance, but that's also why they had the other tribes had to pay tithes unto them, because they will always be occupied in doing the Levitical work, right? They was always occupied with that, right? They was always occupied with the law. They was obsessed with the law because they had to teach the law, you know, because the laws were literally given to them to teach to the nation of Israel. You always hear in Leviticus 11, it says, "And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying," and the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, and the Lord spake unto Moses, right? Why is the Lord always speaking to Moses and Aaron? Didn't just, you know, come to a damn Judite out of nowhere and start speaking to him. He spake to Moses and Aaron because literally the Levites will be the intercessors, right? The Levites will be the let's look up that word real quick. No. Right. The intercessor. Right. Oh, we got a buy in this thing.
Shalom.
Shalom. All praise to the Most High. I'm gonna get this definition real quick. Intercessor, right? A person who intervenes on behalf of another, especially by prayer, right? The mediator, the moderator, right? Clubhouse, right? Moderator, the negotiator, the middleman. So the intermediary, right? The Khan, right? I think that's it on that. But basically, yeah, the mediator. That's how the Levites acted as the mediator, you know? And that's also Yahushua. Remember, Yahushua being the high priest, he's also the mediator between the Most High men. But Moses also was a mediator as well, being a Levite, right? The Levites were mediators, right? The Lord was always dealing with the Levites so the Levites can deal with the nation of Israel. That's how the Lord set it up, huh? You know, there's a hierarchy in this thing, right? And we have to respect that hierarchy, right? So on a spiritual level, guess what? The prophets acted as mediators as well, because the word came to Jeremiah saying, right? The word came onto Jeremiah saying, and then Jeremiah had to speak that to the people. You see that? The word came to Isaiah, the son of Amos, right? Saying this. speak unto the children of Israel this. So that's how the Lord works. He brings a message, he brings a commandment to the prophets, and the prophets on the Most High's behalf would have to come to the nation of Israel and speak their words, or speak the words of Yahweh onto them and command them to do certain things. We see that all throughout the prophets, and we understand that prophets are here now. So the prophets are even a spiritual priest on that metaphorical, symbolical level. All right, Makan, you got it, King.
Kind of want to touch on both points. Yeah, Yahushua and Moses, like the brother, always talk about, is like that. It has a spiritual resemblance, and things of that nature. Because the Lord will always talk to Moses, then Moses would tell Aaron, and Aaron would tell all the people. Aaron was like the spokesperson, but Moses was like the person that the Most High would really deal with through the Spirit, man. Same thing with Yahushua. And the Most High told Yahushua, he told the 12 apostles. The 12 apostles got sent out to go teach, man. This is the book of 1 John, chapter 2 and verse 1. My little children, these things write I unto you, that ye sin not. And if any man sin, we have an advocate with the Father, Yahushua Hamashiach, the righteous. So when you go off of things in that nature, you have that mediator being Yahushua, that being that what's called mediator between you and the Most High God, and make atonement for your sins. I just want to bring that precept out. And then touch on the other point that you made too, that the Lord, he represents that brazen laver that you read about in Exodus 4:40 and verse 32, that these Levites have to wash themselves, man. You can't just enter into the tabernacle and do the Levitical priesthood duties and things in that nature without washing yourself. Now, on the spiritual, that was on a physical level. Now, on the spiritual level, under the order of Melchizedek, guess what? We're all spiritual Levite or a spiritual priest doing the work of the Lord. But before you can do the work of the Lord has to wash you through the water and through his own blood. Because remember, Moses, he sprinkled the blood upon the people. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 1 and verse 5. And it reads, I'm tripping. Revelation chapter 1 and verse 5. And from Yahushua Hamashiach, who is the faithful witness and the first begotten of the dead, and the prince of the kings of the earth, unto him that loved us and washed us from our sins in his own blood. So Yahushua washes us from our sins in his own blood, man. So it's not a coincidence when you come into this truth. The brother put 2 Corinthians 5 and 17, you're a whole nother creature. You casting off that dirty garment, right? Now you know how to go into the precepts. You know how to go out there and teach the word in truth and sincerity. You're keeping the commandments because you casted off that old garment. You threw it away. You put on that new garment, the priestly garments, because the Lord washed you through the Spirit. You're not going to go outside, play basketball, and come right inside and put on new garments, straight like that. You got to hop in the shower. Unless you put on those new garments, you still musty. You got to hop in the shower, clean yourself, then you're going to put on that new garment. Verse 6. And have made us kings and priests unto God and his Father. To him be glory and dominion forever and ever. Amen. So he have made us kings and priests. Now, on a real level, Judah, the kings appertaining unto Judah. That's their lot. But now on the spiritual level, and the Levitical priesthood, it's in the name appertaining to the Levites. But now on the spiritual level, we're all kings and we're all priests on the spiritual level under the order of Melchizedek. Because if Yahushua, he's from the tribe of Judah. But guess what? He's a high priest. How does that happen? Because it's not under people say Aaronic priesthood or Levitical priesthood. It's not that, but it's now under the Melchizedek priesthood, the order of Melchizedek. But Khan, you got this, Shalak.
Khan, that is a good point, man. Yeah, Khan, because people, they hear priests, or when you first come to this thing, to this truth, you hear the priests, the Levites. Okay, the Levites are priests, and we just sometimes you may just get stuck up on the fact that the priests are only the Levites, right? Now, here's the thing, though. Before the Levites, guess what? You had Melchizedek, man. Before any Levite, before the first Levite was even born, you had Melchizedek, right? And you even had the sons of the Most High being a spiritual priest on the earth, man. Right? So that, Khan, that's a good point. I'm gonna approve that real quick. Let's go to Genesis, right? One of the first accounts of a sacrifice being made, because we know that the priests threw up the sacrifices, right, for the nation of Israel. But one of the first accounts of the of men throwing up sacrifices unto the Lord was in Genesis 4. You know, let's go to Genesis chapter 4, right, in verse number 4. It says, "And Abel he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering." You see that? So Abel was throwing up sacrifices literally on a physical level to the Lord. You see that? Before any Levi was ever thought of. See that? You see that? So the sons of the Most High were throwing up sacrifices, right? I got this other precept real quick, right? Now, pass it to the brother talking about Noah, right? Let's go to Genesis 8 and verse number 20. "And Noah builded an altar unto the Lord and took of every clean beast and of every clean fowl and offered burnt offerings on the altar." Knowing that also the, hey, guess what? The law was here before the Levites as well. See that? Literally, how are you going to have a clean beast and an unclean beast before the law of Moses? If the law wasn't here before Moses, you know, Moses came with the written law. Yes, we know that, but the law was always here. You see that? Was always enforced. It'll go deeper into that even in Second Ezra, right? Because it will talk about when the Most High commanded Adam to love his way, right? And we know what love is. We know that love is keeping the commandments, right? But I want to just read on to verse 21. I'll pass it to the brother. It says, "And the Lord smelled a sweet savior. And the Lord said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground any more for man's sake, for the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I smite any Slakia. Neither will I again smite any more everything living as I have done." You see that? But even Noah was what? Taken of every clean beast and of every clean fowl and offered burnt offerings on the altar. You see that? Way before Levi was even thought of. So, Khan, you got it, King.
The brother made a very good point, man. Before the Levites, you already had priests in this thing, man. Let me get this real quick. Because you got to understand the priests, I believe it's Numbers 3 and verse 12. The priests were separated unto the Most High God, made holy to do the Levitical works then. But before then, the Lord said, I believe it's, so let me start paraphrasing. Let me go to Exodus chapter 13.
No.
Exodus chapter 13, verse, I believe verse 2. So Exodus chapter 13 and verse 2. And it reads, I'll start at verse 1. "And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Sanctify unto me all the firstborn, whosoever openeth the womb among the children of Israel, both of man and of beast, it is mine." So really, the holy people, the sanctified people, would chiefly be the firstborns back then. The people who's doing the priesthood duties would be the men of the household, the firstborns, and things of that nature. That's why Abel, he made a great sacrifice. That's why the Lord accepted that sacrifice. But Cain made a wicked, off sacrifice, man. The Lord wasn't dealing with that. How did Noah know how to do a sacrifice? It's not a new thing when you read about Moses, man. All Moses did was come to enhance or make the law more knowledgeable through the Spirit. The same thing what Yahweh did. He came to enhance the law through the Spirit. Let me get this real quick. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 22. In verse 6, because even Abraham, he knew about sacrifices, right? This is the book of Genesis, chapter 22. I'm going to start at verse 6, and it reads, "And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac his son, and he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they went both of them together." So how did he know how to do a burnt offering? Because the law was already there. These men, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Noah, Adam, these men already knew about these things, man. It's not a new thing when you read Exodus, when you read Leviticus, when you read Numbers, and things of that nature, man. It's not a new thing, right? I'm gonna get another precept though.
God.
This is because Hebrews, because Paul kind of touches on it too. This Hebrews chapter 7. I don't want to be long-winded, but Hebrews 7 goes into it. Hebrews chapter 7. I'm gonna start at verse 4, and it reads, "Now consider how great this man was, to whom even the patriarch Abraham gave the tenth of the spoils." Now, when he says the great man, it's talking about Melchizedek. Because you have to be a great man for someone to pay you tithe, man. Not no random. You're not gonna pay tithe to dang Esau just out of nowhere. The manager at your boss, you just come with a buttload of of fruit, corn and things of that nature. You said, here you go. He said, what is this? I don't want it. Hey, yeah, I got to pay you tithes, man. You're not going to do that. You have to honor that man to pay that tithes, man. Verse 5. And verily, they that are of the sons of Levi, who receive the office of the priesthood, have a commandment to take tithes of the people according to the law that is of their brethren, though they came out of the loins of Abraham. That's playing upon tables. You know, we have to pay tithes to the Levites. Verse 6. But he whose descent is not counted from them received tithes of Abraham and blessed him that had the promises. Verse 7, and without all contradiction, the less is blessed of the better. What does that mean? Because Melchizedek blessed Abraham. While Levi was in the loins of Abraham, Melchizedek blessed Abraham, and technically on the spiritual level, blessed Levites. It's going to keep going to that though. Verse 8. And here, men that die receive tithes, but there is he receiveth them of whom is witness that he liveth. And as I may so say, Levi also, who receiveth tithes, paid tithes in Abraham, for he was yet in the loins of his father when Melchizedek met him. So when Abraham gave tithes to Melchizedek, Paul is saying even the Levites, they paid tithes to Melchizedek. What Paul is trying to do here to show you, comparing the Levitical priesthood and the Melchizedek priesthood, that the Melchizedek priesthood is greater than the Levitical priesthood, man. Verse 10, because it's a point. For he was yet in the loins of his father when Melchizedek met him. If therefore perfection were by the Levitical priesthood, for under it the people received the law, wherefore the need was there that another priest should rise after the order of Melchizedek and not be called after the order of Aaron. Now, when you read Hebrews chapter 7, it's hard to kind of understand what Paul's saying. But when you get the gist of it, man, all Paul's trying to do is show you a comparison between the Melchizedek priesthood and the Aaronic priesthood to show you that Melchizedek, which is Yahushua, is a better priesthood, an everlasting priesthood, unlike the Levitical or Aaronic priesthood. You know, but Khan, you got it, King.
Yeah, Khan, that is right, man. That is right. Yeah, Khan. And the brother's kind of going deep, man. You know, going deep with it. Right. Right. But yeah, Khan, that is right, man. You got the Aaronic priesthood, as they would say. You also have the Melchizedek priesthood, which is better than the Aaronic priesthood. Right. Because even in the book of Hebrews, it'll tell you that, you know, the sacrifices and whatnot, it can never really purge out or take away your sin. You know what I'm saying? They can only cover it, right? So that's what the sacrifice that Yahweh Shah came with, you know, it's better because, you know, Yahweh Shah being that perfect sacrifice, right? Being slain upon the altar on a spiritual level. I'm gonna get that real quick. Let's go to Hebrews chapter Hebrews 13 and verse 10, right? I'm gonna share it on the screen actually. All right, go to Hebrews 13 and 10, right? And it reads, we have an altar whereof they have no right to eat which serve the tabernacle. Oh, hold on. I need to share my screen. Right. Right? It says, for the bodies of those beasts whose blood is brought into the sanctuary by the high priest for sin are burnt without the camp. Right? Now he's quoting the law, right? He's quoting the law. Wherefore Yahweh Shah also, that he might sanctify the people with his own blood, suffered without the gate. Let us go forth therefore unto him without the camp, bearing his reproach. So Yahweh Shah was that perfect sacrifice. It was sacrificed for the nation of Israel, right? Now, that's how he was able to take away our sin, right? That's how he was able to take away our sin and actually wash us by his blood, as the brother brought out in Revelation chapter 1 and verse 5. Right? I will also get a precept on that, on how his blood washed us, just real quick, right? Because I want to bring this out as well. Revelation 7 and verse 14. And I said unto him, Sir, thou knowest. And he said to me, These are they which came out of great tribulation. And that's how you know it's talking about the Israelites, man. Right? Because what other nation is going through great tribulation like how the Israelites go through, man? Right? No other nation. Right? They're not going through great tribulation. And I have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. You see that? I have washed their clothes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. Right? That's how you know it's on a spiritual level, because You can't. Blood is red. You can't make anything white. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't take red dye in a white garment and put the red dye in the white garment and think for it to be white. It's not going to work like that, right? So that's how we know it's on a spiritual level. This blood is washing us. See that if you got ears to hear, right? But Khan, all right, Khan, just bring that out. But you had a point on that, or
You sure can.
okay, Khan. So yeah, I want to bring this out as well. Going into how the priests conduct themselves, or how the priests should conduct themselves. Now, if you could, let's go to the book of Malachi 2. All right, let's go to Malachi chapter 2. And let's just start at verse 1. Let's go to Malachi chapter 2.
Malachi. You want me to read it or you got it?
Oh yeah, Khan, could you read it, Baba Kasha?
It's Malachi chapter 2 and verse 1.
Khan.
And now, O ye priests, this commandment is for you.
Right?
If you will not hear, and if you will not lay it to heart to give glory unto my name, saith the Lord of hosts, I will even send a curse upon you, and I will curse your blessings. Yeah, I have cursed them already because you do not lay it to heart.
You see that? So, hey, this commandment is for the priests. Now, as much as this is on a physical level, if we're trying to bring out and prove how we in this truth are priests on a spiritual level, this is for us too. You know what I'm saying? This is for us. But Khan, let's keep going.
Verse 3, behold, I will corrupt your seed and spread dung upon your faces, even the dung of your solemn feast, and one shall take you away with it.
Right.
And you shall know that I have sent this commandment unto you, that my covenant might be with Levi, saith the Lord of hosts.
Keep going, Khan.
My covenant was with him of life and peace, and I gave them to him for the fear wherewith he feared me, and was afraid before my name.
Khan.
The law of truth was in his mouth, and iniquity was not found in his lips. He walked with me in peace and equity, and did turn many away from iniquity.
Right. And here's the point as well, Khan.
For the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and they should seek the law at his mouth, for he is the messenger of the Lord of hosts.
Beautiful, man. Plain. The priest's lips should keep knowledge. But when you read in Malachi in this book, you know, like how the Lord goes into this book, the Lord is really getting on the physical Levites, right? He said in Malachi chapter 1, right? They were offering Let's go to Malachi chapter 1 and verse 8 real quick, right? Just to show that. Right, let's see what the priests were doing, right?
Malachi,
Lord. God, you got it.
Malachi chapter 1 and verse 8. And if you offer the blind for sacrifice, is it not evil? And if you offer the lame and sick, is it not evil?
Right.
Offer it now unto thy governor. Will he be pleased with thee, or accept thy person, saith the Lord of hosts?
You see that? So the Lord was getting angry at that because the priests were getting lazy. You see that? The priests were getting lazy. They stopped caring about it, man. They're like, damn, man, right? They were offering the blind for the sacrifice. A blind goat. You see that? A damn lame goat, right? Hey, according to the law, these sacrifices had to be without spot, without blemish. But they stopped caring about that. You're like, just throw this up to the Lord, man. Just throw that up to the Lord. I don't give a damn. Let's save this good sheep for later, right? For myself, right? I'm gonna give the Lord this, right? Give the Lord a damn sick sheep and sacrifice that. Just sacrifice it. I don't really give a damn anymore. So the priests were getting lazy, and the priests weren't conducting themselves as such, as a priest should. You know what I'm saying? Because remember, a priest, when you have the nation of Israel, the Lord already suspected or expects the nation of Israel as a whole to be a holy nation. That's Deuteronomy 7:6. You know, 1 Peter 2 and or you know, yeah, kind of 1 Peter 2 and 9. You know, The Lord already suspects Israel to be a holy nation. That's what he expects out of it. But out of all the tribes of Israel, we got 12 tribes. Out of all those tribes, the Lord expects one tribe above the others to be even more holy and more consecrated, which are the priests. We even see on a physical level that the priests were consecrated. They were separated. They were holy. That's what holy means, separate and consecrated, because they were nearer to the Lord. They were nearer to the Lord. They even lived by themselves. They lived in the suburbs. They dwelled amongst each other. They didn't really dwell amongst all the tribes of the children of Israel when we read the narratives, man. Right? The priests should keep the priest lips, they should always be talking about the knowledge. See that? And that's what we also have to do as well, being in this truth. We always keep knowledge on our lips. Right? And they what? And they should seek the law at his mouth. What's a good precept for that? Sirach 39:1. Right? Let's read that real quick. Right.
Sirach chapter 39 and verse 1.
Con.
But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and be occupied in prophecies.
See that? And that's how you're being a spiritual priest, man. You're giving your mind to the law of the Most High. Doesn't matter what tribe you're from, man. Don't think that just because you come from the tribe of Reuben, you can't teach the law, you know, and that you can't understand it. Nah, we're all spiritual priests on a spiritual level, man. You know, it says, and they should seek the law at his mouth, for he is a messenger of the Lord of hosts. If you're a prophet, you're a priest on a spiritual level, man. You know, so, calm. But you got it, King. Got a point on that.
As a spiritual priest, you should be going into the law. It tells you, on a physical level, Ezra, he was a Levite, man. It tells you that he prepared his heart, and things of that nature to keep the law, statute, commandments. Now, let me get that real quick. Just a bit of Ezra, I believe 7 verse 10. Bear with me. So let me get there. This book of Ezra, chapter 7 and verse 10, and it reads, For Ezra had prepared his heart to seek the law of the Lord, and to do it, and to teach in Israel statutes and judgments. So us being spiritual Levite or a spiritual priest, we have to prepare our heart and teach the law and keep the law as well and do them, man. There's no reason why you shouldn't be studying, reading, fasting, and things of that nature. You should always be increasing in wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Because anyone can ask you any question at once, at any time. Someone might ask you, is there a precept on showing the Lord he's one God? What precept would you go to? What commandment is this? What's down your shirt? You gotta go into it, man. You should be trying to keep knowledge and truth and sincerity, of course. Keep knowledge and things in that nature, because the Lord said the priest. Let's get that real quick. Let's go back to Malachi. Speak of Malachi. Let me doing it with one hand right now. This book of Malachi, chapter 2, and verse 7. For the priest's lips should keep knowledge. So all the priest's lips, they have to keep knowledge, man. And you being a priest on a spiritual level shall keep knowledge. You shouldn't be talking about folly. For 24 hours straight, you just been talking about the NBA, the playoffs and the finals. Talking about football. Nothing but madness and folly. Talking about the View Bars and Grill. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6. I'm going to start at verse 6, and it reads, And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thy heart, and your heart is your mind. These words in the law shall be in your mind. You should be meditating about the law, statute, commandments, the spiritual things of the law, because the law is spiritual, like Paul said, right? Verse 7, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. So no matter what, you should be talking about it, going over it, thinking about it, and having it in your heart, which is your mind. But this is the point, though. Verse 8, and thou shalt bind them up for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes, and thou shalt write them upon the posts of thy house and on thy gates, man. Meaning no matter what, it shall always be within your house, and your house is what? Your body. your body, man. This thing, there's multiple precepts on that. But this is your temple, which should always be within your temple and things in that nature, always in your mind, always, what's called wisdom coming out your mouth. Because when you look at the gate with the elders, like Job, for example, he was sitting in the gate. He wasn't talking about madness. He was always talking about how can they help the nation. It was going over judgment. It was helping the homeless, and things in that nature. Talking about prophecies, giving dark parables. Ezekiel was speaking parables, man. So it's always about wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Even a king, he has to read the law over and over and over again. So if you're a king, a priest in this thing, you're not going over the law and the prophets and things of that nature, then are you really a king or a priest? What kind you got?
Khan, that's right, man. Yeah, and also that relates to like how you said, the priests, they had to know the law, because they're the ones that were expected to really know the law and to teach it. In order for you to teach the law, you have to know the law, right? You had to know the law. So I'm gonna get this precept real quick in Malachi chapter 23, verse 1, right? Real quick. It says what? Select, right? It says, Then spake Yahushua to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, The scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. So what was Moses' seat? Is that actual literal seat? Moses just sitting on it like this, right? Telling people what to do, right? He was telling people the law like that. Thou shalt not go up and down as a terror bearer amongst thy people. Nah, it was an actual seat, right? And it had Moses written on it. Moses in the Paleo Hebrew, right? Either side it was a lion, right? Nah, man, that's not what it's going to, right? So, Moses' seat is basically his authority. You see that? So the scribes and the Pharisees basically had Moses' authority, and also his position. What was Moses' position? What was his job? He had to judge the people for one, but he also had to what? Teach and bring the law to the nation of Israel. So that's what the scribes and the Pharisees did as well. Now, that's the job of the priest. The priest had to bring the law, statutes, commandments, execute judgment in the gate, right? That's what the prophets do. That's what the many Ahbayah do as well. You see that? So that's how we're spiritual priests, right? Now, I want to get this, right? Because, people might wonder why we study all the time. Well, we had to study. Don't you think the priests were studying? The priests had to study, man. In order for them to know the law, they don't just wake up one day being a Levite. You know what I'm saying? The Levite is just another new Levite born, and then all of a sudden he just knows the law, right? Just because he's a Levite. He has the law in his inward parts, man. Now that's off, right? That the Levite, just because you're a Levite doesn't mean that you have the law in your inward parts. You might understand the law quicker or something like, maybe just a spiritual gift, but hey, guess what? They had to study as well. They had to study the law, right? You know, um, the sons of Aaron, they had to study the law. They had to be brought up into that. Somebody had to teach them how to put on the holy garments, how to make it, how to wash themselves in the brazen laver, right? How to do the priest's work. They had to be shown that. They had to study it. So that's why we also study too, right? Because in order for us to teach the law and bring the law to the people, bring these commandments to the people, right, we had to be studying. You see that? So that's also doing the work of Yahweh. That's how we're also spiritual priests, right? Because let's go to the book of, right? Let's get the actually, yeah. I want to get First Timothy 4, because we already know the classic Second Timothy, right? So I want to get First Timothy, First Timothy chapter 4 and verse number 13. Till I come, give it tenets to reading, to exhortation, to doctrine. See that? So the priests, they had to read the law. You literally have in the book of Ezra, or not Ezra, but Ezra, right? Ezra stood up and read read to the people in the law, right? Let's get that real quick. All right. Let me see. Right. It might even be in. Hold on here. Yeah, Khan, Nehemiah 8. Yeah, Khan, right? Khan, I want to get this real quick in Nehemiah chapter 8. Let's go to Nehemiah chapter 8 and verse 1. Pull that up real quick. All right, Nehemiah 8 and 1, it says, and all the people gathered themselves together as one man into the street that was before the water gate, and they spake unto Ezra the scribe to bring the book of the law of Moses, which the Lord had commanded to Israel. And Ezra the priest brought the law before the congregation, both the men and women, and all that could hear it with understanding, upon the first day of the 7th month. And he read therein before the street that was before the water gate from the morning until midday, and before the men and the women, and those that could understand. And the ears of all the people were attentive unto the book of the law. You see that? So he was reading in the book of the law to the people and gave them the understanding. And the people were attentive unto the book of the law. So that's even what we do in the highways and hedges. We go out there, we got the book of the law in our hands. Brothers might have the Bible and the Apocrypha with them. Certain other brothers may, be more uh the kind of having the 1611, they had the 1611 right with them, where brothers should get 1611. It's all in one. I don't know why brothers don't want to get it, but just the 1611 in their hand. And this is the book of the law, right? That's Baruch 4:1. This is the book of the commandments of the Most High, right? So got the book of the law, giving the people the understanding thereof, right? And reading it onto them. Literally the same thing. And Ezra was what? A priest, right? So Khan, you got it, King.
Khan, these Pharisees, man, they knew the law. It was on the back of their hand, man. They knew the law. Yeah, the Pharisees, they was going off. Most of the Pharisees, I'm not going to say all of them, but most of the Pharisees were going off. Now, Paul was a Pharisee. Who's a Pharisee? The other Pharisee, man. And things like that. He knew the law. That's why when you read his epistles, it's hard to understand, because he's always talking about the law on a spiritual level too, and things in that nature. Let me get this precept real quick. This is the book of Acts, chapter 5, and verse 34, and it reads, then stood there up one in the council, a Pharisee named Gamaliel, a doctor of the law, had a reputation among all the people, and commanded to put the apostles forth a little space. Now, when it says a doctor of the law, it's not an actual doctor. Get that metal ring that's strapped on their head, and things of that nature, man. It's not talking about the doctor at the hospital. This doctor is a teacher of the law. He knows the law like it's easy. You ask him a question about the law, an in-depth breakdown, things in that nature, precept upon precept, and things in that nature. And these are Pharisees, man, who hated Christ. Now, we as spiritual priests see that. You can go ahead and read it.
Khan. Yeah, so a doctor now, and it says doctor, church father from the old French doctor, and directly from medieval Latin doctor, a religious teacher, advisor, scholar, and classical Latin teacher. See that? To teach, cause to know, makes it appear right.
So, yeah, that's playing upon tables, man. These doctors back then, they was teachers of the law. They knew the law like is easy. It's like second nature. Well, first, I'll say first. I don't want to say second nature. First nature to them, man. It's like they was predestined just to know it. That's their lot as Levites in this thing. Now, us being spiritual priests, it's our lot to know the Bible. That's why the word, your spirit just bear witness with it. You growing so fast, you're growing mightily. You remember the precepts, because on the spiritual level, you're a priest. It's a lot, man. It's supposed to be like that. You're asking questions, you're answering questions. You've been in truth for a year, and you already know in-depth breakdowns of the Bible. You already know, and you know where all the books are in the Bible, man. You don't want to be at camp. Read it. Someone said, "Give me the book of Zephaniah." And you're in the New Testament, man, or you're all the way in Genesis, not know where Zephaniah is, man.
Damn.
Right? Hey, you gotta know where everything's at. Someone called for Judas, and you don't have the keys, you don't have the 1611, Hey, you still in this regular Bible and things of that nature, man. Or you gotta know the Bible. This is your lot, your inheritance, things of that nature. You have to know it. It's not you should. Well, it's not you could probably know it. You have to know it, man. It's required of you. It's required of you. Let me get this real quick. This is the book of Luke, chapter where am I? This is the book of Luke, chapter 2. Let me see. In verse 46. And it reads, and it came to pass that after 3 days they found him, the him is Yahushua, in the temple, sitting in the midst of the doctors, both hearing them and asking them questions. And Yahushua was only 12 years old, hearing the doctors of the law, the teachers of the law, and asking questions, man. That's why he's built up mightily. When you jump down to verse 52, it reads, and Yahushua increased in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and men. So Yahushua, being a spiritual priest, before he started his ministration, he was already studying, already trying to get the law and and things of that nature, studying things of that nature, building himself up before you can start as a priest, which is I believe 30 years old, if I'm not mistaken, man. That's when Yahushua started his ministry for 3 years. That's what people say. At 30, ended at 33 years old. So it's all spiritual through the spirit. So yeah, Yahushua, he was doing the same thing as a spiritual priest. But kind of.
Khan, that's right, man. That's right. You see that? Khan, hey, that is definitely spiritual, right? That is definitely spiritual, man. Right? And that all ties into what as well, right? We know that the office of a priest, when you read the law, is very spiritual, right? When you read the law, is very spiritual. Let me get this precept real quick. The office of a priest, real quick. Actually, before I go there, I want to go into the etymology of the word priest. So this word for priest actually goes back into the word elder. See that? Because let's go to this word, priest. Middle English priest, clerk ranking below a bishop and above a deacon and parsha priest. Now that is Catholic doctrine, right? So we're not really dealing with that, because you got, man, look up priest. You got this guy, right? This guy pops up. Who the hell is that? That doesn't look like a Levi to me, man. That is not a priest. He is not a priest. That's not a priest, man. What the hell is going on here? You see that? That man is not a priest of Yahweh by Shema Mashak Yahushua. He's a priest of Satan. That's what he is, man. A priest of Satan. These are priests of Satan, man. Of demons, of devils, of gods that don't exist, of false gods. Because remember, you do have priests on the left-hand side, right? Esau, he has his priest, right? We're talking about priests, real priests of Yahweh by Shema Yahushua. No. When did the Lord ever say to have a cross? Man, it's madness. All right. When did the Lord ever say to wear this? When did he ever say that? When did he ever say to wear this robe and wear a red thing around your neck with a cross on your damn neck? He never said that. When did the Lord ever say to wear this garment and a damn hat on your head? He never said that, man. This is crazy. So we're talking about the real priest. We're talking about the real priest. So when you go into this word for priest, it says what, which probably was shortened for the older word Germanic form represented by Old Saxon, Old High German prestar, right? It says prester, priest, right? Presbyter, elder. You see that? So really, when you really go into it means elder, right? Elder of two, old, venerable, right? I believe venerable means right? Okay, according a great deal of respect, especially because of age, wisdom, or character. Right. So the priests were respectable men. The priests walk in, and everybody is respecting that man. Because for one, he's the anointed of the Lord. And second, of course, he's gonna most of the time he's gonna have that, he's gonna be full of knowledge and wisdom and the spirit of the Lord. because he's a priest. See that? And so really this word priest means elder, right? And we know that the elders, right? We're elders, or the men of the Lord, the elders of the nation. Let's go to the book of Exodus, or it's like not Exodus, Ezekiel. This is Ezekiel chapter 9 and verse number 6. It says, slay old, utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, but come not, right, near any man upon whom is the mark, and began at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house. Who are the ancient men before the house? On a spiritual level, that's talking about those that's in this truth. They're the ancient men before the house of the Lord. And the Lord said, judge them first, because they're the ones that know better. That's pursuing also to the book of Luke, the 12th chapter. The parable about or not a parable, but about the stripes, when the Lord talks about the stripes. To whom much is given, much is required. So the Lord, basically, we're the elders of the nation because we know the most out of our nation. You look at our nation, the jakes that's having their pants sagging all the way to their ankles. And you can see their whole damn behind, bro. You can see their whole behind. You got a do-rag on with a ski mask and a hat backwards with a belt on, but their pants are sagging to their knees, but it's skinny jeans as well. It got $200 shoes on and a $200 belt, right, with a $300 jacket. But you live in the hood, so it doesn't make any sense, right? Now you see those type of our people, right? That's on a low level. The Most High is not looking at them, for a responsibility. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna be like, hey, this is and that, this is and that. You should have been. And no, he's gonna look at us first, right? Because we're the ones that actually know and perceive the evil, right? We actually see what's going on. We actually understand what's going on because the Most High opened our eyes. His eyes are closed, but our eyes are open to the Spirit. So that's how we're the ancient men before the house. The elders. The elders know better. The elders know better than the youngins, man, most of the time, right? They actually know what's up. So that's why they're commanded to teach and to judge the people. We always got the elders judging the people, man. And the high priest also, he most of the time was an elder. Why? Because he had more experience, right? Likewise, us in this truth. This Bible even gives us more experience, man. You reading these accounts, you reading these parables, you reading this wisdom. Guess what? That wisdom's adding on to your experience. That's why the brother Ahbayah, and us, though we're 18, 19, 20, we acting like older men, we acting like older men. Why? Because that's the spirit of the Lord. See that? And that wisdom. But Khan, you got it.
Yeah, Khan, brother Yasharala is definitely more mature than a lot of people I know, especially at my job, man. It's like,
see that?
Yeah, especially at my job, man. It irks me every day. They're talking about just movies and video games. Grown men with beards, like grown men with beards, man. That has a whole. They probably have kids at home just talking about video games. Yeah, if you get this PC, you could probably play this. You could probably play this game, man. And they trying to bring me into it. I said, yeah, I don't play games. I don't play video games. I really don't. And things. There's nothing wrong with that, and stuff like that. But talking about it every day, man, it's crazy. All right, especially as a grown man. Yasharala, he's a youngin. No, he's a young man. I'm gonna say you're a young man. I don't want to say youngin. He's a young man, but he knows what I'm saying. He's a young man in this thing, but he acts as if he's 30, man. Thing 60, right? Because like the other brother said, that's the spirit of the Lord, right? This is Luke chapter 1 and verse 5, and it reads, "There was in the days of Herod, the king of Judea, a certain priest named Zacharias of the course of Ahbayah, and his wife was of the daughters of Aaron, and her name was Elizabeth." Now, Zacharias and Elizabeth is the dad and mother of John the Baptist. Verse 6, and they were both righteous before God, walking in all the commandments and ordinances that the Lord blameless. And they had no child because that Elizabeth was barren, and they both were now well stricken in years. So this priest, Zacharias, he was well stricken in years. Like their brother said, these priests, they be kind of old in age sometimes, old in age, or they be high up they're not 20 years old, man. 15 years old, just walking around, they doing a burnt offering, got the ox, right? Things like that. They just throwing it on the altar and stuff like that. No, man, these men were so-called adults, as you would say in this world, adults and things of that nature. Right? There was kind of old men, with wisdom. So us on a spiritual level, us being a priest, man, we're those so-called old men through our wisdom. Let me get this precept real quick. And go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4. Right, where am I? This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4 and verse 9. But wisdom is the gray hair unto men, and an unspotted life is old age. So when you see in America, you see men with gray hairs, man, it's either just stress or they're just old, man. They have no wisdom at all. You got men who's 90 years old at View Bars and Grill, man, just freaking off. At Hooters, just going off, man. At clubs, someone's grandpa and someone's uncle is trying to talk to a 20-year-old, man, going off, man. Now, just because you have old gray hair doesn't mean anything. But back then, when you had that gray hair, people reference you, man, because that gray hair is symbolic for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Now, this brother, yeah, he looks young. Yeah, he don't got no beard on his face right now, man. That doesn't mean anything. It is what it is. But on a spiritual level, this man can have a full-grown beard, and it's all just gray. Nope, it's not black. It's definitely not orange. Damn, Islam, man. Muslims. It's not orange. Not is your spiritual beard orange?
La.
I'm just asking. Hey, it's a great beard, man. Through the spirit, But yeah, even Yasharala. Let me get this real quick. Even Yasharala, his hairs were white. This book of Revelation, chapter 1. I'm going straight to the point. In verse 15, and it reads, "And his feet like to fine brass." Salaki, I'm tripping. Verse 14. His head and his hairs. It says hairs. So yeah, his hair on his head and his beard, and chin hair and things of that nature. It said his hairs were white like wool. So your house is not walking around with the orange beard, man. He has white woolly hair. And that white hair, gray hair, represents wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And it tells you in the second address that he's a young man. So a young man with white hair, hey, man, that means you have a lot of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, man. But and that's us on a spiritual level is what I'm saying. Yeah, you might not have, there's a lot of brothers who can't grow a beard. They might just be 18. They might just be 20, 21, 22, who got a sideburn. They have no beard, they just got a sideburn and some chin hair, right? And things in that nature, man. Right. But the thing is, on the spiritual level, your beard on the spiritual level is it's great. Because you know a lot in such a short time. You went through a lot in such a short time. There's men, through the spirit, the Lord, on a humble level, there's men that I remember back in the world, that I kind of worked with. We went to the same school and things of that nature. I saw him again. And guess what? Me and him, same age and things of that nature. He's young. And he looks young. He looks very young. Right? Man, people, you got it. You got it, man.
Man, I want to get this precept on that, man. Hey, that's very true. That's very true. All right, I want to get this precept real quick. In Proverbs, right? Let's go Proverbs 13 and verse 20. It says, "He that walketh with wise men shall be wise." Right? So when you walk with wise men, you're going to be wise, right? Now, if you just hanging around damn fools all the time, right? And it says, "But a companion of fools shall be destroyed." You're just hanging around damn worldly people that have no knowledge. All they're talking about is just lust, vanity, folly, right? Just madness. That's all they're talking about. That's all they're about. Guess what? You're gonna be a fool too, right? You're gonna be a fool. You're gonna start talking about that stuff. right? And then you're going to be destitute of wisdom. But if you're hanging around, even on a physical level, let's say you hanging around the nerds all the time, right? Not even the nerds, just like the men that talk about knowledge and wisdom all the time, right? Or or let's say, let's apply to school. You hanging around the nerds all the time. Guess what their talk is? Their talk is about the homework. You know what I'm saying? They're talking about the they're talking about class. Guess what? I know. I know. That's what they talk about, man. Talking about class, the homework, studying for that. That's what their talk is about. And guess what? Those men that are together all the time, those nerds, they wax mightier and mightier in knowledge and wisdom, or not in knowledge, man. In knowledge, and because they talk about that all the time, right? So even in this truth, you walk around wise men. Let's say you walk around even on, or even what I've seen as well. Even though you might be a young man or young woman, you hang around older people. Guess what? You're going to take on their spirit as well, and you're going to be even more mature, right? But if you just hang around younger people, and you're young, then you're going to stay young, man, right? But you hanging around older people that have more knowledge, more experience, then you're going to learn from their experiences, therefore increasing onto your wisdom. you know so even how much more in this truth, you walking around the same crowd. Guess what? And the priests, they stuck around each other. They were just walking around the camp of Israel, just going into every tent, going over here, going to the land of Judah, then going to go to the land of Manasseh, right? Then they're going to go to the land of Naphtali, and go over here. And the priests weren't just doing that, man. They had to be stayed down, locked in. They stand around each other doing the work of the Lord, right? So, they stick around each other as well. So us in this truth, we walk with wise men. We walk with each other, right? And therefore we increase in wisdom, more in wisdom, knowledge, understanding. And even, we like to talk to people. You know, me and Ahbayah, we like to talk to people that really know what's going on, not people that's destitute of wisdom, right? And you might even have some of our elders that have wisdom and knowledge. We listen to them. We listen to them. We hear what they have to say. Because that could be some wisdom that they're bringing to the table that we can use. But the Lord said when you perceive it in Him, what's that precept? When you perceive in Him the lips of no understanding, kind of roughly paraphrasing, they basically just get out of there. He talking to a fool. Hey, the Lord's just like, get out of there, man. Hey, the Lord said a wise man will, when you be amongst the discreet, the undiscreet, observe the time. That's what the Lord said, man. Observe the time. You kind of look at your watch and be like, yeah, hey, man, that's crazy. You should say, hey, that's crazy, like 10 times, Yeah, that's crazy, man. It's crazy. Start backing up, well, hey, it's been nice talking to you, this, that, and the third, this and that. You kind of end the conversation, man, because, they're just talking about foolishness and madness, But the priest list, like how we brought out as well in Malachi chapter 2, verse 6 on down, the priest list, they're keeping knowledge. They're talking about wisdom and understanding, talking about the priest work, talking about how many bullocks, how many rams, how many, what I'm saying, just talking about the work of the Lord. That's their talk, And remember, they had to do that all the time. So if they're just occupying themselves in the work of the Lord, that's what they're also going to talk about as well. Even the Lord said in the book of Matthew 12, for out of the heart, for the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. So what they were thinking about, what you think about throughout your day, that's what you're going to talk about, most of the time, right? So, yeah, man. You had a point on that precept?
I just want to say that's a good point. That the point you just made about basically the Lord said the same thing. Where your heart is, that's where your treasure is as well. And a lot of people's heart, it's or I think it's vice versa. Where your treasure is, that's where your heart is, or I don't know. But what's it called? A lot of people's heart is in this world. They're gonna talk about what? The world, things in that, like basketball, things in that nature. These priests, they live for that. They was very zealous. Look at Samuel. Moses. Hey, Moses got to rebuking Aaron when he thought all things was out of order, but Aaron was like, hold on, chill out. We know what we're doing, things of that nature. And Moses was like, okay, true. Like, hey, they was very zealous for the law, man. Ezra, hey, they love talking about the law. That's where you had the company of the priests hung up with the priests, the prophets hung up with the prophets, the kings hung up with the kings and the king's court, the elders was with the elders, man. And things of that nature. And you should be hanging out with people like-minded, like we read in Sirach 39 and verse 1. I'm gonna read that again for brothers. The brother Yasharala already pulled it through the spirit. But that's a very good precept for us in the truth. This is because Sirach chapter 39. Salakia. Hold on, that's not what. Salakia. Right here. Okay. So that wasn't what I want. Through the spirit, it was actually another one. It says basically be continually with the godly man.
Oh, Khan. That's Khan. Sirach 37:12. Khan. Yeah, I can't believe.
Okay. Sirach 37 verse 12. But be continually with the godly man, whom thou knowest to keep the commandments of the Lord, whose mind is according to thy mind, and was sorry with thee if thou shalt miscarry, man. So you want to be continually with the godly man, a man that has the same mind as you. Back in the world, you probably like to play basketball, do certain things, and you was always with those company of people who like the same things, man. Now you like to talk about the Bible. Guess what? You're with people who like to talk about the Bible. But
Just like how that proverb from the world, they say birds of a feather flock together, So we even see that with the priests, we see that with the prophets, we see that with the companion of fools. The skaters hang around the skaters, nerds hang around the nerds. The damn, the men are trying to act hard at school. They they hang around each other too. You don't really see. You said what?
The goth kids,
The
emos.
The damn goth kids, emo kids. Yeah, they hang around each other too. They God. So hey, all men are type of people, man. And right, they hang around each other, right? Because they have similar spirits, similarities. The harlots hang around the harlots. The weird girls hang around the weird girls, man. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing in this truth, man. Right? Hey, I also want to get this precept. Right? You trying to read for me Isaiah 66:3? All right. Because the priests, they had to also come with sincerity. Hey, even in this truth, we want to come with sincerity. We want to be willing to do this thing, man. You can't really pull somebody in this truth, right? Can't really pull. Hey, if a priest didn't want to do the priest work, you can pull him, but then at the end of the day, he didn't really want to do it, right? Yeah, he was sacrificing the idol, but he didn't really want to do it, man. He wanted to go freak off somewhere, right? It's like, so, it's also in this truth, when we're doing this work of the Lord, we want to praise to the Lord and also desire that and hope that we're doing it out of sincerity and not just, well, I'm gonna read a chapter because I guess I read a chapter because I just gotta do it. We can't treat this truth as a damn chore, man. You just doing it just to do it, right? Just I guess, right? Now we got to rebuke that spirit, But Khan, you got it, King.
Isaiah chapter 6 and verse 3.
Khan.
He that killeth an ox is as if he slew a man. He that sacrifices a lamb as if he cut off a dog's neck. He that offereth an oblation as if he offered swine's blood. He that burneth incense as if he blessed an idol. Yea, they have chosen their own ways, and their soul delighteth in their abominations.
You see that? They have chosen their own ways. So basically, the Lord was like, he that killeth the ox as if he slew a man. He that sacrificed the lamb as if he cut off a dog's neck. Just doing abominations, you know? Yeah, you might be doing the priest's work, but are you doing it in truth and sincerity, man? You know? They sacrificing a lamb, but they're thinking about cutting off a dog's neck, right? They're doing they're doing the priestly work, but they're thinking about offering swine's blood, you know. And these thoughts can't go through our minds, we have to rebuke those thoughts if they do, you know. But Khan, yeah, man, yeah, Khan. That's all praise to the Most High. Are you at a precept point?
Uh, I guess I can make the point, kind of. So
Khan.
I just want to say, even the Lord, he told Saul, man, so I'm in Second Samuel, not First Samuel. In 1 Samuel 15, it's better to obey than to offer sacrifices and things of that nature. So you just obeying, keeping the law, statute, commandments, and truth and sincerity is better than throwing up sacrifices that's not sincere or that's just off with blemishes. You could throw up 1,000 sheep, 1,000 burnt offerings, sin offerings, that's 1,000 or peace offerings, man. 1,000 peace offerings to the Lord, free will offerings to the Lord, 1,000, and it's all blemish. It's not sincere, and things of that nature. You stole it from somebody. Hey, I stole the sheep from Yasharala, and I offer it to the Lord. I said, "This is for you, Lord." Things of that nature. Hey, the Lord's not going to accept that. And guess what? The sacrifice, the offering that Yasharala has, he might not have nothing, man. He just praying for repentance, mercy and things of that nature. And Lord heard him, man. Even the Lord said, in the Gospels, there was two different men. I believe it was a publican and a Pharisee, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that, right? It says this one man said he pray he give alms or something like that. He fast twice a week, things of that nature. He's basically boasting himself about his works. Then the other man, all he asked was for mercy. He's a sinner. Forgive him for he's a sinner. Things of that nature. The Lord said the second man went home justified. The other man, he didn't go home justified, man. The Lord's not dealing with works. He just wanted, faith, man. Right? Because your works is not going to get you saved, but your faith and obedience to the Most High God. But this 1 Samuel chapter 15 and verse 22, and it reads, "And Samuel said, hath the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams." Man, you see that? And they even tell you that the job, man. It's okay if you don't get that much quantity. Just make sure the quality is okay. They want the quality to be good rather than having. I'd rather have good quality. Like I might have just 3 things if that's something that's good, but then you might have somebody who has 1,000 of the things, but it's bad. Everything's just falling apart. Things in that nature. It's nothing. Same thing with the Lord. You might not be on fire as much. You might not know as much. You might not, you're just going through tribulation and things in that nature, but you're sincere. You believe. Then you got that one person who seems like he's on fire. He's doing all these sacrifices, but yet behind closed doors, he don't really obey the Most High God. The only reason why he do videos is because, hey, I just smoked. Okay, fine. I just smoked and things of that nature. Let me go ahead and do a video, and that work shall outweigh what I just did. That's what people do. That's what they was doing back in the ancient world. They would try to finesse the Lord with sacrifices, saying, "Okay, look, I'm about to go off tonight, man. I seen a pretty little thing today. I don't know. I'm about to go off. So let me go ahead and get everything ready. So when I do go off, I can go ahead, offer it. I'm smooth through the spirit." That's what they did. And that's why the Lord is saying what he's saying in Malachi. Because if people start getting lazy, how Jake always trying to finesse the system, things of that nature. But come
Con. Con, man. It's madness. For real. Con. But yeah. I also want to get this precept as well, talking about the offerings and the sacrifices. Right? And probably in the next we're not prelude, but the next time we do basically like a part 2, we can dive a little bit more on the throwing up of the spiritual sacrifices. But I want to bring this out real quick. Psalms chapter 4 and verse 5, it says, offer the sacrifices of righteousness and put your trust in the Lord. Offer the sacrifices of righteousness. You know, that's what we're throwing up to the Lord, you know, or trying to throw up, right? And Lord willing, the Lord receives it, you know, the sacrifices of righteousness, you know, and what is that going into? Studying, praying, presenting your body as a living sacrifice, sacrificing your time, and things also, because when we go into that word for sacrifice, I want to see what it says real quick, right? You know, we always talk about sacrifice, 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 right? But let's actually see what it means, you know, the word, right? What? Right? Hold on. It's not letting me share the screen. Let's see here. Yeah, it's not letting me share the screen. I don't know why. So I'll have to just read it, right? Now, sacrifice, it says, an act of slaughtering an animal or person or surrendering a possession as an offering to God or a divine or to a divine or supernatural figure. Yes, but there's also another definition I want to get, right? Okay, right here, right? It says what? An act of giving up something valued for the sake of something else regarded as more important or worthy. You see that? I'm gonna post that definition in the chat, man. Right? See that? An act of giving up something valued for the sake of something else regarded as more important or worthy. That's also a sacrifice. You see that? To the Lord. Now, let's say this, man. You know, you have the chance. Let's say you have the chance, right, to have a good time. You know what I'm saying? You can, hey, get a good time with your friends, hey, in the world. Let's say, you know, hey, your friends are saying, hey, let's go over here. This and the third. We're gonna have a good time. Hey, we can pay for you. Let's get some food. This and that. Let's go over here. Whatever, whatever. Boom, boom, bam. But you're sacrificing that. You say, nah, man. Actually, I'm gonna stay home and read. I'm gonna read. You know, that's a sacrifice as well. You offering that to the Lord. And it could be, hey, also this too, right? You have a little time. What are you gonna give? You're gonna give it to this woman. You're gonna give it to the Lord. That's also a sacrifice, because you're sacrificing your precious time. You know, and what you like to do. And even sometimes we sacrifice us read or eating. Hey, let's say you know, you're gonna eat this meal, take them an hour, or you're gonna read. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, I want to choose the Lord. Sometimes, you know, we got to throw up those sacrifices to the Lord. See that you regarded the Lord and his works more important than something else. See that? That's also a sacrifice by definition. You know, but Con, you got it, King.
Kind of principle on that too. Every day, brothers in this thing, sisters in this thing, making a sacrifice, man. You keeping the commandments is a sacrifice in itself, because like brothers can easily, hey, the Lord can put a spirit on you to not keep the commandments no more, man. Just go and do your own thing. You can easily just go to sleep if you wanted to, not read, but just go to sleep. Not doing video, just kind of. You got the brother Yasharala calling me. I'm not picking up. I'm not picking up. Blowing my phone up. I'm not picking up. I put on do not disturb. I just turn my phone all the way off because he keep calling me. Hey man, I made a sacrifice. Well, I didn't make a sacrifice. Man. I just went to sleep. But me denying myself, not going to sleep and doing video, guess what? That's a sacrifice right there, man.
Yep.
Right? Sacrificing is giving something up, like the brother said, giving something up for a greater cause. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 19 and verse 29. And everyone that hath forsaken houses, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands, for my name's sake, shall receive 100-fold, and shall inherit everlasting life. So the Lord said, if you sacrifice your family, your land, your house, your possessions, and things of that nature, you give all that up for him, he's going to give you 10 times more than what you perceive, man. The sacrifice, the Lord loves sacrifices, man. Even the Lord, he was a sacrifice in himself, man. That lamb without spot, without blemish, so calm.
Con, man. That's right. That's right. All praise to the Most High. But yeah, we have hit our mark. We didn't want to make this kind of too long, so we can kind of save some stuff a little one for the next video. and brothers kind of have to wake up a little earlier to the spirit. So kind of gonna start bringing out our closing precepts at this time. And kind of shalom, Judamani, man, mighty brother, man. Kind of shalom, right? So yeah, So yeah, at this time we can bring our closing precepts. Brother brought out good precepts, man. Good edification to the spirit. So yeah, if you have yours, you can bring it up.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 31, and verse 16. Thus saith Yahweh, refrain thy voice from weeping, and thy eyes from tears. For thy work shall be rewarded, saith the Lord, and they shall come again from the land of the enemy. Now, one, man, hey, it gets hard, it's truth. A lot of burdens put upon you, but the Lord said, cast your burdens upon him in Psalm 55 and verse 22. A lot of just demons plaguing your mind. Sometimes brothers just start, sometimes brothers don't like thinking sometimes, because when you start thinking, your mind start going all over the place, and then that's an easy way for Satan to get to you, man. So you got to always be constantly moving and doing something, or else if you don't, you just idle. That's when you get attacked. It's like you have no rest in this thing, man. You put all this work in, you're not really seeing the fruits right now. Yasharala probably put all this work in. He probably thinking to himself, how come I'm not seeing no fruits? He probably is seeing the fruits, I'm just saying. But how come I don't see no fruits? Because the Lord said in due season, he will reward you, man. So, hey, don't worry. The Lord will reward you in due season. You're not going to plant a seed and expect for it to grow tomorrow. In due season, it grows, and you can taste the fruit thereof, man. You're going to be happy when you taste that fruit. And it's like you. And this is just another precept to show you that we are in the land of our enemies. It says, and they shall come again from the land of the enemy. Right now, we're in the land of our enemies. Stop thinking Esau is your friend. I don't care if he's talking to you smoothly, saying he'll give you a promotion. And my boss, he's been saying, yeah, man, hey, man, you're doing pretty good. This and the third. I'm gonna give you this, that, and the third. I'm still waiting. Right? Now me, I'm not going. I was getting my hope. I'm like, okay, all praise to the Most High, stuff like that. But after some time, man, it's like, it's Psalms 55 and verse 21. It's like I'm not expect that from Esau. That's Esau right there. He's just gonna come with you with smooth words to keep you working, man. Right. So don't think Esau's your friend. You're in the land of your enemy. Don't always be in the house of mirth. Be in the house of mourning. Because when you're in the house of mourning, you have a different perspective, and you want to get out of here, man. Right. But you got it.
That's right, King. Very, very good points, man. Beautiful precepts as well. And the brother brought out a good precept as well. The Lord loves the sacrifice of the saints. Basically, the death is the saints. And that's just a sacrifice, That's a sacrifice, being a martyr, Hey, Peter being hung on that cross upside down, he could have been like, hey, man, take me off. I denounce the Lord. Hey, he could have said that. But he wrote it out to the spirit. He said, put me upside down, man. He took that sacrifice and he put it to 100, over 100, So that's right. Psalms 116, verse 15. But yeah, very good precepts. Man. Okay, I think I'm gonna bring this one out. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna bring out Philippians chapter 3 and verse number 7. Right? It says, but what things were gained to me, those I counted a loss for Mahashiach. Yea, doubtless, and I count all things but loss for the excellency of the knowledge of Mahashiach Yahushua, my Lord, for whom I have suffered the loss of all things, and do count them but dung, that I may win Christ. You see that? So, man, that's one of my favorite precepts, and the precept that I've been thinking about as well. Paul, he counted the things that were gained to him, he counted loss from Mahashiach. All those things that he counted gain to him, as he states, being circumcised a day, being a Hebrew Pharisee, then concerning zeal, all this stuff, all the glory that he received in the world, all that was gained to him, he counted loss from Mahashiach. And he said, yea, doubtless. He said doubtless, man, without a shadow of doubt, right? And I count all things but loss for the excellency of the knowledge of Mahashiach Yahushua, my Lord, for whom I have suffered the loss of all things, and do count them but dung. He counted that as dung. All the vainglory, the damn the cars, the money, the women, the damn riches, all that is dung, man. Hey, Moses as well. Hebrews 11:25, through faith, choosing rather to suffer, right, with the people of the Most High and to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. He chose to suffer with the Israelites. He chose to be in the wilderness there for 40 years to put on that hard boat and that hard bondage, man. He chose that rather than to sit up like a king in Pharaoh or it's like in Egypt. He forsook all that. He counted that as dung, man. For the what? That says what? For whom I have suffered the loss of all things, that and do count them but dung, that I may win Christ. Guess what? A Paul, and kind of like the brother said, he was living like a king. Moses was living like a king. Now, just moments later, now he finds himself in the damn wilderness. You know what I'm saying? With hard-headed as Israelites. Like, damn, how did I go from being a king to damn being in the wilderness with these hard-headed Israelites, man? But he said, hey, Moses, he was glad to be there. So how much more us, man? We suffer the loss of all things. We count all that stuff as done. Guess what? I had to choose between going to prom and going to camp. Guess what I chose, man? Through the spirit of the Most High. Through the spirit of Yahweh and the Most High made it a beautiful camp. You know what I'm saying? So we count that as done. That we may win Mahashiach Yahushua. And guess what? The brother had to make sacrifices as well. And he counted that as done. Judamani, he had to count things that were gained to him as done. All that stuff is done that we may win Mahashiach Yahushua. So with that, all praises to Yahweh. Bahashima Mashah Malak Yahushua. Lord willing, this is edifying through the spirit. This brother Yasharala.
Brother Ahbayah.
God come back so with yet another video through the spirit and power Yahweh Yahushua. The water for tuning in. Shabbat Shalom to the 12 tribes of Israel. Lord willing, brothers that go out to highways and byways, man, setting on fire to the spirit, and preaching the kingdom of the Most High with no man forbidden. All right, so that all praise to the Most High. Shalom. Come, Yasharala.